It is aired live, and then once the stream ends, it's taken down, and typically the entire stream is available for patrons only. The last 2 weeks, we've taken the time to split the videos into different segments so that if you're looking for a specific topic throughout the video, you can search for those. So what Jamarl is saying that usually we might cover 5 topics on the Patron Appreciation Show, and 3 of them were given or suggested by patrons or contributors. Those other 2 would then be available for all of YouTube. So once I split the videos up, those 2 segments, those 2 questions would be listed separately for everybody on YouTube. So we've had people ask what Patron is. If you're not familiar, Patron is, so like if you're watching someone on YouTube and you say, okay, well, I enjoy their content. It takes a lot of time, effort, and even money to put out continuous content.
All of those things.
So I want to support them. Then you say, okay, well, I support him.
Dozens of
I'm going
bodies
to
have been
commit to
found.
being a patron.
Many more
And
are
that
missing.
means you go to patreon.com, you find his information, and you commit to a monthly contribution. As little as $1 gets you the access and it gets you the commitment. So when we do patron appreciation, or he says consider being a patron, that's what that is. And so once a week on that patron.com platform, a message goes out and it says, okay guys, next show is coming up, submit your topic. So if you're a patron, please be sure weekly to check in so that you can submit topic suggestions so we have some good information to choose from. If you're not a patron and you enjoy the content, consider being a patron. If you
Now to,
support other
dire-
ways,
I'm sorry.
thank you. And if you don't want to support monetarily, just give it a thumbs up if you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And also make sure you hit the bell notification that's down next to the subscription button. So that means once a new video comes out, you will get a notification. YouTube will say, hey, he's going live. He's got a new video. So you can stay up to date on all the content that he puts out.
Excellent. Couldn't do it better.
So,
And that's done with me trying
Welcome.
to pull up a webpage.
welcome to Patron
That's
Appreciation.
not easy, man.
AKA Contributor Appreciation.
That takes a certain degree of concentration. Like,
I've gotten used
It's-
to it because a lot of times you're just like clicking all over the place and doing stuff in the background.
well, I have a silent mouse now, so it's a silent click. It's like,
I heard somebody in the comments was like, that clicking is getting on my nerves.
yeah, so the clicking is silent now. But no, it's not easy. Like when something is going on outside of your earshot and you're trying to be in alignment, you're trying to be in the moment, you're trying to be in the now with the audience.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes there's the earshot, you're not getting a notification.
I'm not getting a notification, but then it's also not showing up on your page.
It's live, I promise you.
See, that's the thing.
See right here.
YouTube is real, like, finicky.
It
Like, I
does.
have my notifications icon clearly enabled. Sometimes I get videos. I would say videos. Sometimes I get
Notifications.
notifications. I would say most of the time I get notifications. A lot of the time, I don't.
Yeah, people complain about that all the time, saying that they don't get the heads up that I'm live. And I tend to be live all the time. Like I do videos nearly every day. It's every so often. I have to negotiate doctor's visits in between the week. And so it's like 3 days out of the week. I'm always fighting for 2 of those days. But nevertheless, I do shows all the time. And so not getting a notification is a big deal.
I would say though, like I mentioned a minute ago, make sure you give it a thumbs up like when you're watching a video. But while we have live, or while he's doing live videos, give it a thumbs up because there's some kind of YouTube algorithm that makes it pop up more and it gets shown to more people so more people can come hang out. So if you are here and you're ready to party with the Progressive Soapbox, hit a thumbs up button.
So while we wait for people to join us, we weren't necessarily going to talk about this, but now that I think about it, I think I do want to talk about this.
What is that?
GalaxyCon. We got the
we froze.
opportunity. Huh? What's wrong?
Oh, go ahead.
Calm down. It's okay. We're good.
It froze. I wanted to let you know that we might have frozen.
Oh, you're fine.
Let it go.
All right. So we went to GalaxyCon, and GalaxyCon was awesome. They had several people from Star Trek that were there, and for the most part, that's me geeking out. And I had a conversation with Trudy though, and I kind of made the point to her that Worf.
Since then,
Yeah, I talked to Trudy, and she says she no longer has a love of Worf
because of what you told her.
because of what happened. Not just what I told her, what happened. See, me telling her is one thing. So it's not just because I told her. It's more so because of the event it takes. Right.
Because of your... Why are we black? I mean, what's going on in the background? What's happening?
It's pulling up the
okay, so Galaxy
picture.
Con.
Right.
Galaxy Convention.
So this was the Galaxy Convention. Now this is kind of like the Comic Con, but it's Galaxy Con. Think of all the comic books and all of the videos and characters and all of these other things coming together. And all in one place. People in costumes. People dressed up in all sorts of, it's absolutely awesome. This took place in Jackson Ward.
Here in Richmond, Virginia.
Here in Richmond. Now, Jackson Ward is a historic district. Yeah, they have. I love this. It's absolutely beautiful. Downtown could be amazing, but downtown is not amazing. So this is...
Now, we're not going to show this because I'm going to be putting together... Am I not going to be putting together
you are.
A specific one?
You are.
If you're into this and you are not aware, Jamarl launched a secondary channel called The Black Box.
Well, I don't know if that's going to show on them. But
it's going to be on both.
Yeah, it's probably going to be on both. But
so we're going to do a nice, cool video and put everything together. And it'll be available here on Progressive Soapbox and on The Black Box where you can see... So people are saying, what about Worf? Tell the story.
All right, so right here. So this is Worf.
Michael Dorn?
Michael
Is that
Dorn.
his name?
Yeah. So him and I asked him a question early on, and while he's on stage, and I get the opportunity to ask a question because, you get to the point and it says, all right, does the audience have questions? So my question had to do with essentially cynicism in sci-fi, especially with this notion of Star Trek. And to show you what I mean, think of all of the characters in Star Trek. Think of the relationship between the captain and the first officer. It's a loving relationship. Even Chakotay and Janeway, who started off as enemies, eventually ended up in this kind of loving relationship. In Discovery, within the first episode, the woman attacks her own captain using a Vulcan neck grip. And I nearly fell out my chair when I watched that. So there's a certain cynicism that they infuse into these things and make these shows much darker and show, okay, let's show Star Trek in this kind of darker way. They got people doing karate.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They focus more on action, like where that's not...
That wasn't Star Trek.
That wasn't the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
so he misses... I think he somewhat misses the question, even though he starts talking about Deep Space Nine and cynicism that they wanted to infuse in Deep Space Nine, to which I tried to explain, well, wait a minute, I don't have an issue with Deep Space Nine. It took like 8 seasons for them to get to a point to bring that show to the brink of war, in which case I think I heard the audience groan, because were they groaning?
Nobody was groaning. I mean, when you asked your question?
The second question.
No, some guy behind me was talking about how like you were like nerding out or something.
That's fine. That's fine.
I don't think it was like in a bad way, but he was like, "Oh, that's a real like."
That's a real question. That's
like
a real question.
Yeah, I can't think of the way that he framed it. It was kind of funny.
I get the opportunity to talk to Worf. I want to ask Worf a real question.
Barbara Mearsman says, "Don't confuse the actors with their characters."
I'm not. I don't.
But he was asking him as someone who played
a character
this iconic role. How do you feel about what they're doing with the roles now?
Exactly. That's the basic question. Like, if you look at sci-fi in general, these sci-fi shows are dark. Star Trek was this hopeful, emancipatory show. In fact, there was a woman, who stopped me and said, "That was a really good question that you asked." Didn't she?
She did.
She did. And she just started to engage and have this conversation on this notion of Star Trek and how things have gotten darker and everything else. So... it was
That is not that's not the issue. That's not what happened.
What do you mean that's
afterwards, that's what I was going to say. That's what I thought your issue was.
That was my issue. Yeah.
My issue was Worf was whack. Michael Dorn was whack. So we said we're going to see Michael Dorn.
Yes.
And then we're going to wait. This was at like 2 p.m. Then we're going to wait because Data, I can't think of his real name right now. Data is supposed to be here. Yeah, Spencer's supposed to be here at like 4 or 5. So we went down to this little exhibit hall and we were just kind of walking around. I said, "There's Michael Dorn right there." And they had tables just like that set up. That's cute. They had tables that were set up where you could take a selfie, get an autograph, or have your picture taken, like by somebody else. And autographs were $40 to $50. It was $30 to $50 just to have a selfie taken. But he goes over to Michael Dorn. What the fuck are you doing? He goes over to Michael Dorn And Michael Dorn just looked like he's done for the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was like, oh, okay.
Like
okay.
everything I said to him, he was like, yeah.
The picture that they took, it looks like Michael Dorn. It looks like Jamal was photobombing him. Like it doesn't even look like they're like in the picture together. He was like trying to engage him in a conversation. He's like, oh, okay, all right.
It wasn't like somebody was behind me.
No, he was like, okay, all right. You know, like let's get into position for the fucking picture.
Let's do this.
I got shit to do.
Yeah, let's do this and go.
No,
that's kind of how it was. Let's do this and go.
Data Spencer was actually having like full on conversations with people. The line was so long because people were having like conversations. He was engaging people, and then we went to Q.
Wait. I'm trying to find
what
Data.
the hell is going on?
Go ahead.
We went to Q's booth.
Oh, there's Data. Okay. Brent Spencer.
Yep,
yeah, Brent
Spiner.
Spencer.
Where
Oh, Spiner. I'm sorry. Why do I keep calling him Spencer?
I don't know.
Engaging people in conversations. And I'm sitting there, people are standing there like, what the hell is he doing? He's talking to people. He's like literally having real talk. And so by the time I get to him, he's like, how are you? I said, I'm doing fine. And I said, one of my favorite episodes of Star Trek deals with when Data couldn't beat the guy in the game that they were playing. And Spiner's like, yeah. I said, I use that for my show all the time because I like to get across how Star Trek dealt with these conceptual issues. And did so in a way that was contemplative, interesting, and it made people think about society in this kind of third world way. He says, the guy that engaged me in that first show, he said he was the first person that I ever had my showbiz gig with. And he said that guy ends up, he said he's dead now. He said, but he used to have performances in his living room. He said his show, whatever they have commissioning there for like theatrical place, he said the smallest place that they had was that guy's living room. And he said that guy used to literally do shows in his living room. He says, that was a friend of his and he missed, the fact that he lost. This is what he was doing while I was standing there.
That's why I was in line to get to him for 10 minutes.
He's having conversations.
Then after Spiner, we go over to Q. And he's getting the autograph. Oh, is it Otto or Odo?
That's Odo, yeah.
Odo. He's getting the autograph with Q.
Right.
And Q asks him, hey man, what do you do for a living?
Right.
Like he asked him... He engaged him, you know what I mean? And it wasn't just some BS stuff, because like he responded and they started talking about politics. It was cool. I mean, he just was like a cool dude that seemed to appreciate the fact that Jamal was geeking out.
And Q, and he made Delaney, right? Delaney made this point of, he says, a lot of the stuff that used to take place in Star Trek was conceptual, not. These guys are doing karate. Nobody's doing karate in Star Trek. Sulu, maybe, but Sulu was the outcast, and it was kind of slightly racist because he was Asian, so he could kick ass. like their episode with Sulu has his shirt off. He's like, with the sword.
I remember one. I was like, why is he running down the hall? Like, he was running down the hall with a sword, and I was like, oh, this is racist. This is really bad.
And by saying that, I'm joking when I'm using the term racist at this point. No, man, I was geeking out. I mean, I've never had the opportunity to actually meet the cast, to meet the characters. And so getting to engage him on his character was fascinating to me. And I'm like, he says, I love one of my favorite episodes, his first episode, where you're condemning mankind for the atrocities that were taking place and holding Picard accountable. He says, yeah, we used to be more of a thought-provoking show. That's not kind of the way the shows are now, and that's sad. That's something that we're losing. And when he asked me what I do, I said, I'm a political pundit. He says, what kind of politics? I said, to the left. He said, are you telling people to vote? I said, well, yeah, I think people should vote. I said, I don't buy into the blue no matter who stuff.
Yeah, and he was like, we got to get this ass. He was like, we got to get this ass.
We got to get his ass out of the office. He doesn't like Trump at all. But that's awesome.
Yeah, and he was like, whoever it takes.
Yeah, whoever it takes.
Jamal was like,
I'm not in that.
Whoever it takes. I was like, he about to fight with whatever his
Delaney,
name is.
yeah.
I was like, he's about to fight with Q. I'm getting this on.
That would have been painful.
It would have been
painful.
I was trying to get the video. Why? You think he would have beat you up?
No, I don't want to have that conversation with Q like that. Like, I don't want to, with Delaney. Like, I don't want to get into this back and forth of, you got to put anybody in office, man. It's like, well, no, I don't believe you should put anybody in office because the person should represent your interests when they get in the office. Yeah, but Trump is horrible. I get how bad Trump is, but come on, let's not pretend that this went off a cliff. Like, this is not the conversation I just want to have with him because I like him as a character and I didn't want to stop liking him because he was saying some, well, Hillary she would have won if it wasn't for the Russians. We're like, oh.
No, we didn't get there. It's a good conversation.
I don't want your autograph. Like, I don't want it to go there. I don't want to go there.
It was cool.
But no, it was awesome, man.
It was a lot of stuff. It wasn't just a Star Trek convention, because somebody asked that.
It was everything.
GalaxyCon.
Yeah, it was everything.
So they had anime stuff there. They had gaming stuff there. They had Star Trek. They had Star
Wars.
Wars.
I walked by the Star Wars booth with my Star Trek shirt proudly. I was like...
They had some really good artists there.
Yes. We got some really good background stuff.
I ordered the frames, so you guys will be seeing them soon. Some cool Star work. That's interesting. Star Trek.
It's cool. Don't tell them.
I'm not. I'm just saying we got some
good
good artwork, but they had some really good local art. Well, I don't know if they're local, but they had
I don't know if she's local,
artists. But there were so many of them, so many talented people there. But yeah.
So that's GalaxyCon. That was awesome. That is something that don't miss it if you get the opportunity to go, especially if you're like
Z123 ZZ. She says, or he says, you guys are nerds. I love it. No.
Yes.
I'm not a nerd.
Yes.
I married a nerd.
You know, the wild part, well, she loves anime, so don't, I'm not a huge fan.
I like Japanese anime. That doesn't make me a nerd. That makes me cool.
No, that's
That makes me cool. Star Trek like, and walking around
never late, never on time.
Being a Trekkie is like, that's nerdy.
It's just epic.
But like anime where I'm watching like people just like
you just like it because you like
each other
Japanese people screaming in Japanese language and flipping out. That's all. And that's fine. I like that myself.
There is, like you would say, a certain gravity that comes with the Japanese language when someone is emotional. I love it.
It's no gravity. It's just funny.
I mean, it's not funny. It's like funny. When they're like
somebody's about to get their head chopped off
and someone's about to get sliced up. And the energy and the passion.
It's kind of like the Hammer of Allah.
Anger that is
in the Middle Eastern thing when somebody is about to get their head chopped off. And the guy's like, la 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 la, and screaming with the thing.
That's bad. We're going to edit that out.
It's the same thing.
We're going to edit that out.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
I refuse to watch subtitle anime, just like anyone cares. I have to watch it where I can hear the Japanese language.
She just likes the guy wilding out.
That's my preference.
No, I
picked up a couple of words between that and watching Kill Bill 17 times.
Domo origato, Mr. Roboto.
That's okay.
That's a song.
Mm-hmm.
No, really, that's a song.
Oh, I know.
Oh, okay. She's younger than I am, so there's a lot of these stuff that's beyond her time. So let's get to the news.
Victoria, it does change you.
What?
She says, I married a nerd too. It changes you. It does.
For the better. For the better.
Debatable.
No, that's not debatable at all.
It depends on the day.
Look, man, these shows have a certain conceptual gravity associated with them that allows you to look at your society from a third-person perspective. That's not something that you oftentimes get. Oftentimes you have the American perspective, and that American perspective dominates oftentimes the conversations that we have, and oftentimes even lead to war because people mistaking their perspective for being the perspective as opposed to relative. Third-person shows allow that. Things like Star Trek. This hopeful view of humanity, that's something that we've lost, and that's to our detriment.
Balthazar, thank you for the super chat. I don't understand what he's saying. He says, having 30 to 40 additional years of voice acting as a respected and endorsed profession doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt who? Like Star Trek people? Oh, or like the Japanese people?
Yeah. Voice acting.
I don't know. Trudy, you missed it. We were just talking about you and how Worf disrespected my husband at GalaxyCon. All right, so I think we're done dicking around.
Yeah,
we got about 110 people here.
Let's do the news.
Welcome to Patron Appreciation.
We're probably not going to get a huge crowd because the door's probably on.
Well, that's fine.
He sucks our milkshake. That's you know what that show is. You don't know what the show is?
I don't really like that terminology.
Sucks our milkshake. It's There Will Be Blood. He's talking about the guy building an oil well and using his oil well to dig underground to take their show. He just started doing shows in the evening. I do my shows all day. He's sucking my milkshake.
Okay.
You're just being dirty, man. Get that dirty stuff out of your head.
ID Warp says Dora is off at the moment.
Oh, okay. We don't
Drink the milkshake, not suck it. Says Michael
What's
Cooper.
the difference? Same difference. Same difference.
Drink the milkshake is
Sounds less
disturbing
nasty.
to me.
Sounds less
Jimmy
dirty.
Dore's sucking our milkshake. That's not.
All right, fair enough. Let's.
We're gonna edit that out too.
All right. So, what's the first story?
First story today.